Welcome to Dance to Heal. I'm your host, Jenny C. Cohen. Join me as I share stories of how dance and movement can bring healing in a way that is safe and tailored to your life. I'm a cancer survivor, mother of two, and an award-winning performer who found that movement was vital to my recovery. I created Dance to Heal Wellness and also authored the best-selling book, Outside in Recovery, Dancing My Way Back to Myself After Breast Cancer. I will bring new techniques to help you on your dance journey and healing path. Are you ready to move? Dance to Heal starts now. Audience members, it is with the utmost glee and joy that Desi is here. Desi is the person you want to have a conversation with. We're going to start off right now. Make sure you take this down before I go any further, okay? You are going to do this. Put this in your brain right now. You're going to book a call with Desi at talkwithdesi.com, because if you even if you never thought of doing a business or any type of side passion, or you already have one, Desi is the person you speak with to make sure all your ducks are lined up in a row, and the fact that you even need ducks. Welcome, Desi.
Jenny, I love you. It's such a pleasure to be here with you and share today.
Yeah. Please just share with my audience the things that you love about being an owner of your own business.
Mm, that's a great question. For me, it's the freedom to be creative. It's the joy and fulfillment that you get from living into your mission here on the planet. And it's the financial freedom that comes from being able to create and creating those things in alignment with yourself.
I love that. Because certainly I know you are, for me at least, the epitome of the servant heart. You know, you folks, Desi's helped me out of many a scary customer service thing on some landing page mess in the middle of the night, folks, that you don't need the details. You just need to know Desi's a lifesaver. And at the same time, though, right? I think that for you in managing a business where you're at the highest corporate levels and many clients, right? And you're
Right.
still also like a mom and a wife and a friend,
Mm-hmm. I
right?
am.
So, will you share with us some tips on if someone were thinking of even considering the possibility of whether or not they needed someone to help them in the realm of virtual assistants? What are some tips? And here's the thing. So I'm going to clarify because this came up in an interview a few days ago between like a beginner entrepreneur, and I would love for you to define what that means, because depending on who I'm speaking with, I have different definitions of what that means. A beginning entrepreneur, meaning like time in business versus how much income they're generating, right? And then an experienced entrepreneur. What are some tips for both of those categories?
Got it. Beginning entrepreneur to me is someone who has a mission to fulfill and they're getting going. Usually it's 0 to 6 months is the beginning entrepreneur. That's getting your feet wet and starting to get everything in place foundationally for what you're out to do. Revenue range usually 0 to 6 months and 0 to 50K. That is usually the entrepreneur beginning stages. Now, for experienced entrepreneurs, for me, experienced entrepreneurs are 5+ years and multiple six figures going into seven figures. That is the point once you hit 5 years where you will most likely not fail in business. And a lot of business is trial and error. So you've got to give yourself grace if you're considering starting a business or you're starting a business. Give yourself grace and give yourself permission to fail because it will happen. I cannot tell you how many times that I have failed in the thing that I was trying, right? And you don't know what you don't know. So if you don't put it out there, you'll never know if it was going to work or if it fails. And out of those failures, we get lessons as an entrepreneur. You shift a mindset. You come from a different place of creativity when you're creating. You look at it differently. So that's a little bit of tips on getting started and taking the step and really just be forgiving to yourself. I think all too often entrepreneurs are incredibly hard on themselves, and a lot of times that is where burnout will come from. That is where overwhelm comes from, the stress comes from. If you are out there just authentically showing up and being you and being who you want to be in the world, none of that exists.
Hmm. Well, I want to dive deeper into that one, Desi, because, when we were working together last year, when you were helping me with all my virtual assistant work, right? It's a little bit different than the system you've set up now. Sorry, dogs running around upstairs. Hope you couldn't hear that stampede. This is life, folks, like really. So you're shifting something, though. You're including something that a lot of people who provide virtual assistants services don't do. And you and I had many conversation about how it's important, because there were times you would give me assignments and I would be like, yeah, and you would never get them. And it had nothing to do with because I didn't want to do them. It was because there were certain things that were blocking me from following through on
Hmm.
my own business. This is not like me working for someone else, right? So talk about those, share that with us, because I think it's going to help anybody, no matter whether or not they're in business or not.
Right. The right mindset is crucial to a business.
Mhm.
And I love that you said lifesaver earlier because it's funny enough, my pillars for the company that I hold for each and every member or client that comes through me is spirit, organization, and strategy. It stands for SOS.
Yep.
And the spirit piece is what you're alluding to, Jenny. And it's really the transformation, the business mindset, and the shifts that are required to free the blocks and to free up the space to allow yourself to move forward with momentum. For example, I have several clients on right now, and I have been walking through them different breakthrough pieces because each client is different,
Yeah.
right? So for one client, I did a breakthrough on delegation. What is holding you back from being able to delegate? Another client, I did a breakthrough on around wealth and abundance. What is stopping you from making the money? Right. Another breakthrough I did is overwhelm and stress. And is what is in your space that is really, really causing this to be a thing for you. Right. So the transformational piece is, in all honesty, the most important piece. Because if you don't have the mindset, if you don't give yourself the space and the time to work through different things mentally, physically, emotionally, it's not going to work out. I will say that I have been through this before. And I have been on a 2-year personal growth journey to really get aligned with who I am, who I want to show up to be, and what impact I want to make in the world. And because I have done that, I have not been burnt out. I have not been stressed. I have not been overwhelmed. I've actually gained more time, energy, and freedom to do the things that I love and come from a place to creatively create for the people that I'm serving.
I can vouch for y'all. I mean, because at one point, Desi and I were working together, and you're one of my favorite people I worked with, because it was always, yeah, or I'm clear that's not what I want. And a lot of times I've had clients who couldn't even it's not that couldn't even, they had difficulty with it. Or they wouldn't be able to follow through and understand why. And I think that's a gift you have, because you shine this light for us, but you also shine that light for yourself. You're part of the whole new world, I think, of people who are trauma aware. When I say trauma aware, it could be big T, little t. Like, it doesn't have to be, we survived the World Trade Center, which I did. But you know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that. It can be like, oh my gosh, life is just really overwhelming right now, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
And I need someone to help me just see through my own muck.
Mm-hmm. Right. And a lot of times, in my experience, it takes talking it through. It is very challenging for someone to sit there who is not well versed or well practiced in creating a space of peace and calm to I would say meditate. Yeah, meditation's not my thing, but there's different forms of
Yeah,
meditation, right?
yeah,
Um, to reflect is a good way to put it
yep.
on what could be stopping you. A lot of times we walk around with blinders on.
Hmm.
We are ignoring the things that are stopping us, and we need help to get over those and really start getting that momentum back. I know for me, like I have up to like 6 mentors at a time, and it not granted, not in the same area, but I have different areas, different people to call on who love on, serve, and support me in the way that I need so that I can continue showing up for my mission and doing what I do.
Yes. Yes. You have a big mission.
I do.
You have a big mission, Desi, and because of that, right, you need the bigger support system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Audience, hear this. If you have a big mission, and I think we all do, that requires a stronger and, dare I say, bigger support system. That's important.
It's very important. You know, a lot of times just surrounding yourself with people who are doing the things that you want to do or who are living into their mission the way that they want,
Mhm.
that have the time, energy, and money freedom that you want to achieve. A lot of times surrounding yourself with that system, it will rub off onto you. It's like you're a sponge. You're absorbing energetically. Even if it's through Zoom, you still absorb energy.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Um, but be a sponge and be willing to be a sponge and have the courage to, if you don't have the right support system around you, have the courage to step out, say yes, and go find a new support system that actually supports what you're trying to achieve.
That's a big one.
Mm,
That's a big one, right?
it is.
It's being, I think between you and I, we probably have easily gone through anywhere from 20 to 30 mentors. There's sometimes that if someone helps you get to a certain point, audience, and your gut is telling you to move on, it's okay. It's okay to move on and find what's next best for you. Because you're different now than when you first signed up with that person. That's really important.
Right. And a lot of mentors too, and this is important to keep in mind, a lot of mentors are great for the stage you're in, and then you hit a certain point and they're not great anymore. Yet a lot of people will stay with that mentor because they helped them get there when it is actually time to let them go and find a support system or a new mentor that supports the new goals that you have.
I love that. I love that. So, Desi, you have an event coming up. Tell us about that.
Mm. It's gonna be so much fun. It is. It's the Lead with Impact Summit, and it is part of the P3 Summit series. We will be doing at least one a year. I may increase it. But P3 stands for People, Power, and Passion. And it was put on my heart to show up in a bigger way and support more people. And that's what the Lead with Impact Summit does. It's bringing together incredible entrepreneurs and business owners and incredible personalities, right? Energetically aligned to bring you tips and tricks and things that you can do practically to get momentum while leading with impact. So it's supporting teams, it's leading yourself with impact. It's not just teams. You've got to lead yourself. So a lot of times our subconscious and our conscious are not in alignment. And when you lead with yourself and you get in alignment, a lot of things start to open up.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So, audience, remember, if you fall, you ever notice if you like something that your friend is doing, or you go to some place and you like what was there and you rave about it to everybody and anyone that will listen to you, and you try and get them to do it with you or buy it with you or engage in it with you. Do you do this for yourself though? And if you don't, this is the event you need to go to give yourself permission to do that.
Yeah. It's going to be so much fun. And there will be prizes. We are going to do prizes. Um and really, yes, we want you there. The prizes are there to get you there and to show up. Because if you don't show up, you'll never get the shift that you need. And you never know what shift you're going to get. For example, I have been on stage with so many of the same people, and every single time I listen to them, I get something different
Yes.
because our energies and our mindsets are always changing. So being adaptable and being willing to listen to that same person again, especially if you resonate with them, with who they are, give yourself that permission to step up and say, yeah, I'm going to listen to you again. One, I may not have the gift that you're going to give me. Two, I always get something different from you, and come at it from that standpoint and watch what opens up.
I love that. So, audience members, the access for that ticket will be in the descriptor. Even if you're listening to it on the audio portion of this and you're driving, come back to this description with Desi, okay? So that you can click on that link to buy that ticket or access or reserve the ticket, right, Desi?
Right. We're making it free. We want
What?
you to be
That's
there.
amazing.
What? Yeah, we
What?
want you to be there.
Okay, let's make sure you do that. And then okay, so we're kind of coming to the longest I'm allowed to interview my guests because my interview person's like, "Yeah, keep them short." I'm like, why? I could be on with my friends forever. I think you need to come back because we're only just starting to touch on the beginning of how important it is that, this path to freedom that we titled this topic, right, is
Mhm.
more than what we are able to perceive of by ourselves,
Right.
right? And
Right.
I mean, when you and I first met in our high end level coaching for speaking, what, like 4 years ago, 2 years ago,
Yeah. Yeah.
four,
Crazy, huh?
4 years ago, when we first met, then, right? We're very different now. And,
Yes.
right? And what we're speaking to you, audience, is what we were hearing back then from others.
Yeah.
And we want you to be a part of this shift of more awareness of what works for you personally and then what's out there for you to take advantage of.
Absolutely. There's a whole world of possibilities. And I know we're coming to the end here, but one thing I wanted to say, even especially for newer entrepreneurs, it doesn't matter how big the step you take is, just take a step. Even if it's a little tiny shuffle, just take a step forward, because any shift forward will shift that momentum and continue to help you grow. And so what if it takes a long time? As long as it's in alignment with you and you're showing up in the way that you want to show up, take that step.
Oh, I love that. I love that. An audience member, remember, time is only perception. Time is perception. Time doesn't actually exist if you think about it. We measure it to understand it in our human understanding of time. And there's certain parts about measuring time that's just an agreement by our society. But time itself doesn't really exist by itself, if that makes sense. And so you're never late, is why I'm coming in that direction. You're right on time for what you would need to learn to access what you're meant to be doing. And here's the thing. You could be working for someone and perfectly happy with it, and at the same time be stepping into what you signed on for your sole purpose later because the skills you're gathering now will prepare you for that in the future, right? Because I remember when my daughter first entered college and she was saying, I was told as a parent when she entered college, people in the past, we used to do one career and you work it for 30 years. At the time of my daughter entering college, before the panini, we were told that whatever she elected to major in would be one of up to 10 career shifts for her in her lifetime. This is the reality right now of this time frame we live in, correct?
Mm. I had so many career shifts. I was probably up in the 30s.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
And
I mean, and that's not to say it's a bad thing. It's because I have multiple different passions and multiple different things that I care about. And what I landed on here now, we've been going for 7 years,
mhm.
right? Is something that is the most enlightening for me. It lights me up the most. It gives me the most fulfillment and it gives me the most freedom. And my request is that you take a look at that for yourself.
I
And if you're working in corporate and it doesn't feel right, give yourself permission to leave.
or start to explore ways to
Right.
leave, right? The entrepreneurial space is expanding into the billions in the next few years. Now is the time to start exploring your side hustle, folks. Start exploring your choices for freedom. All right, Desi. I think that you're definitely a coming backer person. We're
I'm
just
pretty sure
thankful.
this is the second one I've already done with you.
Well, you were a part of the Sweet Life series.
I was,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. You haven't yet come for interview on the podcast. So
Well,
unless
I
you're
will
on board,
definitely be back. I love sharing and really it's coming from my heart. Just know that everything I share is to hopefully give a shift to someone who needs to hear it.
and I really appreciate that because that's a lot of the reasons why we started this podcast in the beginning, right? Is for anyone who's searching for answers, for them, for you audience to just feel less alone. To we've had members listening from New Zealand, and we just expanded into an app where we have audience members in Dubai and in India. So
Mm.
we're quite honored to have an audience like that. And I think I think you agree with me, audience, that it's a great time we've had today with Desi. Now, if you are watching this on the YouTube version of this video, if you're not, go to the YouTube version and feel free to put any questions for Desi in the comments section and we'll come back and answer them. Right? I mean, of course, you're going to book your call with Desi. Okay. All right. Let's just make sure that you do talkwithdesi.com. And some people, it unnerves them to have a phone conversation, and we understand that. We can hold space for that. You can send a comment, and we will answer that. All right, my dear friend, until next time, we love you. We'll see you next time. Bye bye, everybody. Thanks for listening to Dance to Heal with Jenny C. Cohen. Come back next time to hear stories of recovery through movement and learn more ways that you can move your body. To work with me and continue your journey, visit OutsideInRecovery.com. Are you ready to move?